Day of reckoning, day of justice.
The killer of Brittanee Drexel coming face to face with her family as he learns his fate. 13 Wham News at 5 starts right now.
From your breaking news and weather authority, this is 13 Wham News at 5.
I'll never be able to walk Brittanee down the aisle.
13 years of pain and anger since the disappearance and murder of Chi-Li teen Brittanee Drexel. Her loved ones confronting her killer face to face as he is brought to justice.
You have no power over me or my family. Forgiveness is not part of this narrative today. The second that you are sentenced, you become irrelevant to me and the world.
Raymond Moody, sentenced to life, never to see freedom again.
I was a monster. I was a monster then. And I was a monster when I took Brittanee Drexel's life.
Tonight, team coverage and new details on the case that left many lives forever changed.
I wear her picture and her ashes around my neck. Today and every day for the rest of my life.
Brittanee Drexel's mother directly addressing her daughter's killer today. Good afternoon, I'm Dan Schrack.
And I'm Chase Howell. Our team coverage spanning from here to South Carolina. From the day Brittanee Drexel vanished 13 years ago in Myrtle Beach, the mystery would deepen when the 17-year-old from Chi-Li never returned home.
Years went by, suspicions would emerge, and then a tragic turn when her remains were found and her accused killer arrested. Raymond Moody now imprisoned for the rest of his life. We begin with 13 Wham's Alexis Arnold.
13 years after her disappearance, the family of Brittanee Drexel coming face to face with the man responsible for her murder.
You're in fact guilty of murdering her?
Yes, sir.
And you raped her?
Yes, sir.
And you kidnapped her?
Yes, sir.
Drexel from Chi-Li was 17 years old when she disappeared while on spring break in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in April of 2009. This May, police say Raymond Moody confessed to the crime, admitting he took Drexel to a campsite 30 miles outside of Myrtle Beach.
Mr. Moody recalls that he compelled her to remove all of her clothing and then sexually assaulted her through force or threats of violence at that point in time. Once the act was completed, he realized that he was most likely going back to prison for his conduct and manually strangled her at the campsite at that point.
Moody told prosecutors he then wrapped her body in a blanket and placed it in nearby bushes. Her remains were found this spring just a few miles from the motel where Moody was living at the time.
And I was a monster when I took Brittanee Drexel's life. You know, I don't have the words to express how horrible I feel. And I've felt ever since that day, I'm very, very sorry.
Moody's guilty plea ends years of unanswered questions for Drexel's family.
Today we know the truth. And today, Mr. Moody, you face the consequences for that. Today, my daughter, Brittanee, is here with me, with all of us, not just in spirit. Brittanee is present. I wear her picture and her ashes around my neck, today and every day for the rest of my life.
As we can see, a very emotional day for members of Brittanee Drexel's family. They have waited 13 years for justice. 13 Wham's Carla Rogner was in that South Carolina courtroom today where several of Brittanee's family addressed her killer. Carla?
Yeah, Dawn, Brittanee's family packed into the South Carolina courtroom this morning for Raymond Moody's guilty plea and sentencing. Several told me learning that Moody would spend the rest of his life in prison is the justice they've been looking for 13 years.
The defendant was and is, and I'm sorry, a perverted, sick monster. That this should never happen to anyone ever again.
It was the first time the Drexel family faced the man who's now admitted to killing 17-year-old Brittanee back in April 2009.
Whatever anger or hate I may harbor towards you is forever outweighed by my love for Brittanee and by the love so many people have shown us.
Camden Drexel is now older than his sister was when she went missing. In court, he spoke of the years and milestones he'll never get to share with Brittanee that Moody stole from him when he was just 6.
Growing up, my sister was my second mom. She really meant the world to me. Going to her soccer games and just being there for her and to be her little brother / baby was a dream.
Brittanee's adopted father, Chad, shared how she shined as a big sister.
That's when I saw the loving, caring person.
Her mother, Dawn, told Moody how Brittanee wanted to get married and be a mother.
My heart is broken, my life forever changed. So many lives destroyed by your selfish actions.
Many family members, including Camden, had a piece of Brittanee in court with them, wearing necklaces with her ashes. He's glad to now have some closure.
I want to live for Britt through the moments that she couldn't live through, so I can do it for her and achieve it for her, so we're both doing it at the same time, because I feel like Britt's living a little bit through me.
Chad, who once hoped Moody would be sentenced to death, says he's satisfied knowing he'll spend the rest of his life in prison.
It was what I hoped for, and thank God. And I want to thank everyone at home for their prayers and their thoughts. In knowing that now we can move on.
And today was the Drexel family's last step in their 13-year-long pursuit for justice, though many family members say it doesn't end here today. Brittanee's mother, Dawn, shared plans to continue advocating for victims like Brittanee and for stronger sex offender laws that would keep criminals like Raymond Moody in prison.